Hello, hello, human beings. Welcome to tonight's guided nonsense with me. What's my name again? I can't remember. Looks like we've got no viewers whatsoever. Oh, now a viewer. Wow, amazing. I'm just going to adjust the settings and see if I can get that a little more the way I want it to be. A little brighter. There we go. Okay. So welcome. We are back here at the San Francisco Dharma Collective virtual Sangha, and also my YouTube stream virtual Sangha. Here we all are, wonderful folks. And something is one more weird thing with the camera. I'm just going to keep playing with the camera here a bit. Sorry about that. Let's see, this should do something really weird. Did that do anything interesting? Nope. Okay. Anyway, here I am with you tonight. And what we're going to do tonight is meditate as usual and talk some dharmas and hang out together. Now, if you're here in California like me, especially I'm in Oakland, right, in the Bay Area, not only are you living through COVID, going on our 5th or 6th month of the COVID lockdown, but also now you can't even breathe the normal air because it's filled with smoke. So this is the amazing, fascinating, interesting situation is that it's also really hard to breathe at all, and you have to wear a mask for the smoke from all the fires. So if you're not here and you wonder what that's like, just imagine, you go outside and it's exactly like standing or sitting next to a campfire, that kind of like super intense smoke all the time, everywhere. So that's what's going on here. It's just really powerful stuff. And I imagine that, people are feeling a little stressed between COVID and air quality, at least in the Bay Area. And who knows what else. If you are in the States, you could be looking at unpayable health care bills. You could be looking at worldwide, you could be looking at losing your job, losing loved ones to COVID, and so on. So it's quite a fascinating time. If by fascinating we mean terrifying and potentially kind of existentially fraught. And the good news is that is what meditation is for. That is what Buddhism is good at. Buddhism likes to wrestle with existentially fraught things. So that's what we're up to tonight, as we are every night when we meditate. It's just a dark time, right? And interestingly, there's no light on the horizon, right? Right now, it's like, wow, we could be slipping into some kind of total autocracy. We're very, very close. Wouldn't take much, just a little tiny bit. People have been warning you for years that we're close, but now we're closer than close. So it will be interesting to see what happens in the next, let's say, 3 or 4 months in the States and worldwide. I mean, the climate crisis hasn't gone away. Everyone's focusing on COVID, but hey, the minute that's gone, the world is still on fire. So it's a very powerful time, interesting time, terrifying time to be alive on this planet. I'm glad to be alive on this planet with you all. I wish we were all sitting in a room together. I always say that meditating together as a group is extremely beautiful and fun. So let's begin meditating. I'm going to take a sip here. If I have to cough during this quite a bit, I might not, but if I do, it's because I'm not wearing a mask and the air is full of smoke. So sorry about that. Um, so I'm drinking water to clear the ashes off my throat. Okay, let's sit down and take off your glasses. If you've got glasses on, get nice and comfortable. And what I want you to do is to begin. So let's begin meditating. And as usual, we're going to begin meditating with shamatha practice. But this week, our shamatha practice is going to be the recommended shamatha. You always get to do whatever focus practice you want. Focus on whatever you want in whatever way you want. You can picture, a glowing diamond orb filled with lightning bolts or whatever. You can, whatever you want. But what I'm going to recommend we do is do metta as our focus object. Remember that metta is much more akin to shamatha than it is to vipassana. Metta is a kind of focus. So let's do some metta. And by metta, what I mean is Brahmavihara practice. So it's not necessarily metta. It could also be karuna. It could also be mudita. It could also be upekkha. So we're looking at joy, compassion, friendliness, kindness, and equanimity, right? So pick one of these feelings. Let's go with joy. And I want you to just focus on whatever person or animal or being, celestial being, for whom wishing them well and seeing them doing well would bring you joy. And so this is a focus practice, right? This is a shamatha practice. And so what I want you to do is, we'll just say it's a little baby puppy, but it could be a baby kitten, it could be a baby whatever, it could even be an imaginary cartoon character, it can be a deity, it can be your mom. I don't care. Picture something, and I want you to, or some being, and I want you to focus on a mental image, create a mental image of them being happy and joyous and laughing and or whatever they do when they're joyous. And having a really great time. And so make pictures like that in your mind and make them really, really clearly. You can use the same picture over and over. You can have a rotating series of pictures, but you're seeing them joyous, healthy, and happy. Okay? So mental images. Second, you are wishing them well. And traditionally, we would be saying stuff like, may you be happy and joyous. May you be healthy and strong. May you be peaceful and free from struggle, and may you be free from suffering. Right? So, happy, healthy, peaceful, and free of suffering. And so you're wishing them that verbally. So you've got mental pictures going. They're super happy. You've got mental talk going. You're wishing them well. May you be happy and joyous. May you be healthy and strong. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be free from suffering. And as you're saying this, you're seeing them so happy and at ease and healthy and strong and joyous. And remember, this is imaginary. It doesn't have to be real. It doesn't have to be filled with, but actually no. This is imaginary. You're seeing them as happy and as healthy and as joyous and as free from suffering as you can. And this is the important part, you notice that feeling of joy that arises. You notice the sense of kindness and heart opening. Okay? So that's what I want you to do. Notice that this is completely artificial. You're making it up. So that argument or the complaint that people give about metta is, well, it feels fake, it feels artificial. Well, don't you watch movies? They're completely artificial, and yet you like those. Don't you read books? Those are completely artificial. They make you feel a bunch of emotions that are made up. and you read those, don't you listen to music? That's artificial. People sit around thinking it up and playing music and recording it, and yet that makes you feel stuff, and it's artificial. So it doesn't really matter at all that we are imagining this. In fact, the fact that you can just imagine it in a completely fantastical realm of the mind, and yet the positive emotions that come up are real. The emotions are not artificial. Emotions are never artificial. Whatever emotion comes up is the real thing. The fact that we can do that is awesome and is a real boon. So, what I want you to do is dive into creating this artificial scene of this being. It could be you being tremendously happy, being tremendously healthy, being peaceful and at ease, and having no suffering. Go. We're going to use that as our focus object. Now, normally I do the guided relaxation during this, but we're just going to do the metta as the focus. If you want to be kind of pedantic about it, we're really focusing on three things. We've got a mental image, which is that kind of visualization focus we talk about sometimes and do sometimes. So you're picturing the person or animal or being or cartoon figure or whatever as happy and healthy. So that's a focus on mental image. And then you're also doing the repetition of the verbal wishing them well. And so that's the mental talk. So you've got those two things to focus on. And then the main focus is the sense of emotion in your body, the softening of the heart, the softening of the whole emotional body, the upliftment, the pleasant sensations. So we've really got three things we're focusing on, and you can kind of switch between them, spending some time on the mental image parts, spending some time on the mental talk part, spending some time on the body sensation of emotion part, or you can kind of do them all at once. So I'm going to be quiet now, and let's all do this together for a little while longer, and I'll chime in a bit more in a moment. Remember that metta involves some effort. So keep making the mental visualization, keep making the mental verbalization, and keep noticing the positive feelings that are arising. If it starts veering off into thoughts and feelings that are a bummer, this is part of the focus. We bring it back. That's why it's more related to shamatha than vipassana. We bring it back to positive mental images, positive mental talk, positive, uh, delightful uh, body sensations of emotion. So put in the work on this. This is a little bit effortful. Good. Now, what I want you to do is to sit and simply be with experience right now. Don't do any meditation. Don't do any technique. You can have your eyes open if you want, but I want you to simply be with experience, whatever that means to you. Just relax and open and be with experience. If you find yourself falling into some known technique, notice that part of the experience is that you're doing a technique. You have like a technique for being. So that's interesting. Look into that. What is that thing you do to be with experience? And is that somehow part of experience? Or is it outside of experience? Or is it a different part of experience? Like, what's going on when you have a way, a set way, a method for being? That's kind of interesting. Or maybe the instructions are confusing. Like, what do you mean, be with experience? Well, what I mean is be with experience. Just be. Can you do that? Is there any way to do that? And if you're confused and you're looking for how to do it, what's what's it like to be confused? What's the situation of what's it feel like to not know and to kind of be grabbing after knowing, or to feel like you're slipping on ice and you're looking for the hard ground that you can actually get a grip on? What's that like? So just keep being with whatever your experience is. Maybe you're like, oh, I know what he's trying to do. I get what I know this. And so what's that experience of feeling like you know? What's that about? Do you actually know? So I want you to just welcome whatever experience is arising. Don't reject it. Stay in relationship with experience. And just be present to whatever's arising right now. Now, if you're just sitting there thinking about stuff, can you be present with sitting there thinking about stuff? Not just caught up inside the thoughts, but actually watching, noticing, being present to sitting there thinking about stuff. If you're involved in a long battle to somehow stop thinking about stuff, well, I would recommend not doing that, but watch yourself doing that. Be present to whatever's happening right now. Reject nothing. That's the instruction for tonight. Reject nothing. Whatever is arising is what is arising. Whatever is your experience right now, that's what we're with. So we're being with experience in a very simple way, very direct way, but we're not particularly focusing on anything. You're not drilling down on content or trying to do vipassana on various arisings or whatever. We're just simply being and staying with awareness that is spacious and open. So if you have been drilling down or concentrating on a particular thing, let go of that. And in fact, I recommend not really deeply getting involved with anything, but rather uh, just be open with experience. absolutely simplest being with right now, being present right now with whatever's happening, rejecting nothing, accepting everything. If you notice yourself trying to manipulate or control your experience at all, just stop doing that. At least doing it on purpose. If it keeps happening, if you can't help it, fine. But that's just part of experience to accept. But if you're doing it on purpose, if you find yourself trying to control and manipulate the mind, um, to have certain thoughts and not have other thoughts, stop doing that. To, stop thinking altogether, let go of that, stop doing that. Let me get rid of these notifications. Sorry about that. If you are finding yourself controlling, I want to have these emotions and not these other emotions. Now, we were doing that in the metta, but for this part, we're just totally letting go of that kind of control, accepting whatever's there. We're not investigating it. We're not, fully getting in there with concentration. We're just allowing. So letting go of manipulation, letting go of control, allowing completely, accepting everything, and simply being. We're not doing any special breathing. We're not doing any special anything. We're simply being with experience. Is that hard to do? If it's hard to do, that's something to be with, something to accept. Just, you know, be with that. Be with the fact that it's hard to just be with experience. Keep going. Now, there's a couple of very minor things that we're not going to completely allow. We're allowing everything, but there are a couple of exceptions. One is if you are sleepy, accept that you're sleepy, accept that you're drowsy and all that, but sit up and wake yourself up. Don't let yourself just sit here nodding off. Actually, uh, get alert, get awake. If you need to sit with your eyes open or even stand up, then do that. So we're still accepting that we are drowsy, but we're doing something about it. So that's one thing that we're manipulating. This is not pure non-manipulation. And the other thing is if you're just sitting there mind wandering, just sitting there lost in thought, remember we're trying to be present with thought, trying to be there, noticing that thinking is happening, but not involved in it. So those are two things we're accepting, but subtly actually um, not doing. Let's keep going with this. simply being present with experience. Now, I want you to ask yourself, how do I know any of this is real? How do I know anything in experience is real? Well, I can touch it, I can see it, but those are all just experiences. It doesn't follow that they're real. It doesn't follow that they're the truth or somehow the basis of anything. How do I know what I'm experiencing right now is real? It could just be something that's being, piped into a brain in a fish tank. It's like a total virtual experience. And there would be no way to know. Or would there? Or it could be that everything you're experiencing is uh, what it seems to be, but beneath that is a whole other reality that you know nothing about, a more fundamental reality. Or maybe it's all a simulation running on a hypervisor. And how do you know it's not? Look into experience. How do you know that anything you're experiencing right now is real? Look, look carefully. Look right now. Contact experience directly and in all the senses, not just seeing, feeling, hearing, tasting, smelling. How do you know any of it's real? And any answers that come up, like, how do you know they're right? The only way to prove they're right is to look at other stuff that might not be real. What do I even mean by real? Look at experience now very, very, very clearly, very directly, very sharply, with bright awareness, luminous awareness, awareness with prabhasvara, luminosity, clarity. What is reality right now? Is anything at all real? Do you even know what real means? Look right now. Look deeply at the center of everything. What is real? Don't give up. Don't just say, I don't know, or say, I know, and here's the answer. Don't give up. Keep looking. Don't rest. How do you know? How do you know what's real? Or if anything at all is real? And how do you even know what reality is? What's your experience right now? Don't get tired. Don't stop looking. Keep looking. How do you know what's real right now? Is this real? Is this experience real? If it's not real, what is it? If it is real, what's that? Look. Look until you see. Good. Now just drop that and come back to just being present with experience in the simplest, easiest, and most effortless way possible. Good. Now let's end the meditation period. And at the same time, notice that we don't need to stop being present. Whoops. We don't need to stop being present. We can simply continue to be with what is in a very simple, open, non manipulative, non suppression based way, not controlling, not contriving, but simply being. And I think something that I want to have you ask yourself tonight is, what are you doing here? Like, why are you meditating? Whether you're doing this live with me right now or watching the recording later, um, what are you doing? Like, why do you bother to sit? What's your idea about what sitting's all about? What's your idea about what meditation is for? What brings you to um, spend an hour here contacting the present moment, or being with what is, or dropping the ball, or doing whatever practice we're doing? What's it for? Maybe you find it relaxing, and that essentially it's a kind of um, release of tension and stress, and pleasantly opening. Maybe you believe that you will have some insight, some special understanding about yourself, some special understanding about the world, some special understanding about the universe or reality. And that special understanding will be um, eye opening, truth revealing, life changing, or something like that. There will be, special insight. Uh, Maybe on the other hand, it's more about suffering, like you're aware that you suffer and that you don't want to have to suffer all the time. And often meditation or Buddhism says that if you do this enough or do this well, you can stop suffering, an end to all suffering. Maybe it's about enlightenment. You want enlightenment, not just a special insight, but an extra special insight that transforms your life and also radically transforms your understanding of yourself or the world or yourself and the world or other people or God or the soul or whatever. Maybe it's about enlightenment or awakening. And maybe in your way of thinking about it, this enlightenment or awakening is not just a momentary thing, but a permanent, long lasting thing. That you're forever changed. Just like if you, accidentally chopped your arm off, that would be a forever change, right? No matter how we tried to fix it or heal it or you put a prosthetic on or whatever, you would never be the same in some fundamental sense. And so maybe there's some enlightenment or awakening that you're looking for that's like that. It's like a permanent difference that never goes back to being the way it was. Or maybe you're meditating to feel more love. You want to be more connected to others. You want to be kinder to others. You want this connection and kindness and love and caring and joy to be something that you both feel and share. You communicate it with others. They feel your love and joy and they reflect it back. It's like a community uh, of, of oneness, of togetherness in love and kindness and openness and sharing and caring, right? And you feel that meditation will help you do that. And that's your reason for showing up. Maybe you feel you are broken in some way, your personality's fucked up or you're crazy or, you don't like how angry you get or something. So you've got these features you don't like. You feel fucked up in some way, broken, maybe even not that bad, maybe just sort of out of tune. And you want to come back into tune and you want to fix what's broken and you want to maybe be more skillful in your emotional expression or more sane and reasonable in your mental world. So, you're sitting to like fix what's wrong with yourself. Um, Maybe some people come to meditation to kind of magically influence the world, like if I've got my chakra system or my central channel or my aura or whatever shining just right. I'm actually healing the self. I'm healing the world. There's good energy beaming out, and it's like bathing the world, bathing living beings, bathing uh, um, the energy fields of creation with healing balm or some kind of uplifting energy or some kind of um, something helpful, something that's good and healing. Or maybe you think, or you feel like you've realized that your mind is, you know, not it. Like thoughts and the things that are going on in my mind are clearly not the thing. And so something beyond that or through that or behind that or that's not that is the thing. And you've sensed that or you've seen it, but you want to continue to contact that. Maybe, there's this weird thing. You can't even really describe it, but it just feels right to meditate, or it feels beautiful to meditate. You like the way the world seems when you meditate, and you're attracted to that sort of nebulous, maybe indescribable feeling of wonder or wholeness or beauty or sweetness. Who knows? Some feature that is maybe hard to describe about meditation that you just really like. It makes you feel the way you want to feel. Maybe there's a thing about meditation where it feels like this ancient traditional practice that's very simple, that's been done by human beings for thousands of years, hundreds of millions of human beings for thousands of years over many, many, many different cultures. And maybe that part is very attractive. Like you feel like you're taking part in a historical flow, a movement of human beings, a practice that people have done for so long in so many places. And it makes you feel connected to this kind of greater sense of humanity and history and culture and a kind of beautiful experience of that. So, these are some of the reasons that people meditate. I talk to meditators all day long, and I hear about why they're meditating and what they want to get out of it and what they're thinking about it. And I've just named a few. I mean, this is just a tiny percentage of the reasons that people might be here right now. Like, so I want you to ask yourself, why are you here right now? Why do you meditate? What's it for you? Um, and really look at that deeply. And as you maybe you know me, maybe you're just sensing it by the way I'm talking, but I'm not going to tell you that any of these are right or wrong, that any of these are true or false, that any of these reasons for coming are the wrong reasons, that any of these reasons for meditating are the right reasons. I'm just not going to do that. You get to meditate for whatever reason you want to. And it's not up to me or I believe anybody else to tell you that's right or wrong. It's your meditation practice, it's your life. But I think I would, as a teacher of meditation, I would say it's important and interesting to at least ask yourself why and know why. You know, it's not so much that there's a right answer or a wrong answer, but it's about the fact that you've looked at that about yourself. What are you really doing here? And if you don't know, that's interesting too. Look into that not knowing. What is it? Let's say you don't know why you're here, but still you're here. So something brought you here. What was it? Why are you meditating? Why are you doing this? What is going on with it for you? I think that's a super interesting and really important and actually kind of fun and fascinating question. And one that probably, if you've been doing this for a while, and if you haven't been doing this for a while, I can confidently predict that in the future you will notice that it changes. It has changed over time, or it will change over time. The reasons that you're doing it change. And they might change in surprising ways. They might change in ways that are very different than, the new way is quite different than the old way, or it might be more like a slow, deep maturing of the reason. Again, there's no right or wrong, but it's worth really looking at what are you doing here? WTF with meditation, right? Why? Why? So with that, I'll open up the floor, the chat room floor for questions. We'll only do it for just a few minutes, maybe one or two questions, or reports, or whatever you want to throw in the chat window there. Um, you know, it's late here in California. It's probably much later where you're at, or maybe you're watching this another time when we're not in the chat window. So if not, just keep, if it's not time for you to live chat a question, just keep asking yourself some of these questions. Why are you here meditating? What is this about? And I strongly encourage you not to just take the easy answer, like, well, my cousin Vinny brought me to a meditation class. That's why I'm here, right? Okay, but why are you still doing it? What about it is attractive or interesting or important or fun or beautiful or joyous or whatever? And inquire deeply and inquire into your heart about what that's about what you're about here. Like, why are you doing this? And are you noticing that doing the meditation is actually, you know, seeming to do the thing you want it to do, or seeming to help in the way you want it to help, or seeming to deliver what you think it might deliver, or seeming to fulfill the thing you want fulfilled, or seeming to open up the doors you want it to open up. It's just interesting to really look deeply into that for at least a moment. Katz is asking why I meditate. Go listen to my most recent podcast with Ken McLeod. And in the middle of it, it's a long podcast, but if you go about 45 minutes in, he starts asking me some of those questions. And I dig a little bit into that. What comes up for me now, or what came up for me when he asked. So I'll just point you to the Deconstruct Yourself podcast and say, listen to that one. And I talk about it there. But I'm interested in your response. Please feel free, either in the chat window or later in the comment section of this video, to write about it, or write me an email or whatever. I might just write back and say, cool, but I'll read it. And I think it's a very interesting and powerful question. Okay, so let's Yaroslav Sladek is saying sometimes it's hard to tell how much his life would be different if he didn't meditate. I know, right? I mean, we can never rerun the experiment. Human life, it's always n equals 1. Everything is what we did, and we can't go back and rerun the experiment. We can't go back and rerun that moment of life. So it's powerful and interesting and poignant and fresh that way, right? Every moment is utterly fresh. It's an experiment, and we can't repeat it. It's a moment that we have to just wing it. We're always winging it. And it's fascinating to think what winging meditation is like, what winging our life of meditation is like. Fabian's saying the question makes them uncomfortable because they can't answer it, which is interesting. That's right. And just looking at it is worth doing, even if you never actually come up with, the true answer, or the final answer, or the real answer. Asking the question itself is very, very, very helpful. It's a form of meditating, right? That's why I'm saying don't just trust the easy answer. Look at the answer. Look deeply at what comes up, because it'll be interesting. This is your one precious life, right? This is the one poignant moment. This is all you've got. Why are you doing this? Right? Why? Okay. I really encourage you to sit with that. And now we're going to do our gear shift that we do every week, because these meditations, these guided meditation videos, are sponsored by San Francisco Dharma Collective. And San Francisco Dharma Collective has not been able to have a live in-person meditation since, I think, late March, of this year. It's been a long time, right? What are we in, 5 months or something of lockdown? It's been a while, right? Going on 6 months. But yeah, so these guided meditations are sponsored by San Francisco Dharma Collective, and San Francisco Dharma Collective is now online collective. Someday we'll be an in-person collective again, assuming there is a someday. And my eyes are stinging, my lips and tongue are stinging. There's so much smoke in the air, and I'm indoors in like a building with ventilators and stuff. It's amazing. Um, so yeah, well, I encourage you to donate if you can, uh, in a spirit of generosity, whatever you can to San Francisco Dharma Collective. If you feel generous but don't have money, or even if you don't feel generous and don't have money, don't worry about it. Come to these guided meditations and enjoy them and feel the benefit. We want you to have that. But if you feel generous and you feel motivated and you've got oodles of cash, tech billionaire, please donate generously, crazy generously to San Francisco Dharma Collective, to the link that is in the chat window. And also feel free to generously donate to my Patreon at patreon.com/Michael Taft, whichever, it's all good. So that's the Donna pitch. And I'd like to remind you that San Francisco Dharma Collective has great content going on every other night. You can see Chandra Easton, this amazing Tibetan Buddhism teacher, this Vajrayana teacher who leads Feeding Your Demons practice and lots of other practices for SFDC, or the the unpronounceable and inimitable, I'm still saying it wrong, Michael Owens, who teaches sutra on Sunday nights. What an amazing erudite sutra teacher he is, and many, many, many other programs. So San Francisco Dharma Collective is in the mosh pit doing the dance for you every week, making amazing Dharma teachings available. So please donate. Okay. I said that was the pitch, and then I repitched the pitch. So that's two pitches, which were really just one pitch. Now we're going to meditate some more, just a very short time. This will be completely short. So let's do it. Drop right into your meditation moment here. Excellent. So, as always, as I always say, and I always feel, thank you so very much for showing up on Thursday night. or whatever time this is for you, and taking part in these guided meditations. I deeply appreciate you and the fact that you give your time and attention to these programs. Please feel free to write something in the comment area. And I look forward to seeing you again next week and someday seeing you in person. I can't wait. Thank you so much. Have a great week. Bye bye, everybody.